All right, guys, welcome to Random Talk by T20 Lab. As usual, this is Sajeev again, and today let's keep it like this. I want to ask everyone who's listening: do you love watching movies? And if you are from my age or before my age, you must remember the days when you had to climb through ticket counter and bargain with black ticket sellers just to purchase a movie ticket. And that was not even the real struggle. You had to limber up to enter the premise, and if you were lucky enough, you could get a decent seat. Long gone those days because of three visionary person who was ahead of the curve. Today we are proud to bring you the man behind not only revolutionizing the entire movie going culture of Nepal with the international standards, but also redefining the digital movie making in Nepal with movies like Kagbeni and Sano Sansar, which broke the ongoing trend of Nepali movie industry. He has lived an interesting life himself. If you look at it, it can be turned into a movie itself. We today talk about his journey from Indra ko Potey Bazar to Tamil ko Chhaya complex and many more. One of the founder of Team Quest, which manages the QFX Cinema, founder of Tricity Studios, we have none other than Mr. Nakim Uddin. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Uddin.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for accepting our invite. Thank you so much for joining us. It's
my pleasure.
It's really an honor to have you with us on the 5th episode of Random Talk by D20 Labs.
It's a mutual feeling. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, talking about, let's say, starting, I heard that you have a really interesting love story of your own.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, from what I heard, it was an intercaste marriage, not just intercaste, it was an interreligion marriage, and it was an inter-country marriage as well, because you didn't marry in Nepal, you just went to India to get married.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I wanted to know one thing, because if early time intercaste marriage and interreligion marriage is so big thing, parents still don't understand and they are still not so much supportive about this trend, right? And you did it about like 20 at that time 25-30 years ago, and I'm definitely sure that at that time it was a huge deal. It was definitely a huge deal. How scared were you when you got married and when you decided that whatever happens, I'm just going to marry and I'm gonna come back? How scared were you at that time?
Okay. I wasn't scared at all, probably
Okay.
because I was in love,
Uh-huh.
And then my girlfriend, then my wife, she was studying in Delhi, and somehow her family being Brahmin family, they finally agreed to let us get married. But my family, they didn't agree. And being an only son for my parents, they were dead against this marriage. So I eloped with her to Delhi, and then we got married there. Then I was not scared, but once we came back, and then when my family disowned me, then that was the scary part, because then I had to start everything from scratch.
Yes, I was just coming to that. You went to India, you got married. I'm sure you're really happy because you got the girl that you really wanted, you loved. You got married with her, right? But the main part was when you were trying to come back, you found you were disowned by the family and you had to start all over again. So that is where the real struggle began, right?
Yeah.
And
so that's where the struggling part started. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you started from the Potey Bazar, like I said, Indra, and I heard you still own those Potey buses that your father used to run at that point in that place, right?
Yes. That's my family business. My father used to have shops there. I worked for him for a couple of years, and recently my father passed away 2-3 months back.
Okay.
So I've inherited that business, and it's still our family business.
All right. Like all of lot. I went through lots of your interviewer. I went through them all.
Yeah.
And there are lots of things that you have talked about. Of कति कुरा त तपाईहरुको most of the people already know, so I didn't have lots of questions to ask as well. And one thing that you have talked over and over again is how you got into the cinema business, right? Like how you got into J Nepal, how you brought it, and like you have talked about it in so many places. Most of the people already know this stuff, right? I wanted to ask you one thing. When you first bought J Nepal Hall, and when you decided to get into this business, I'm sure like it was your first time. You had no idea how the cinema business works and stuff, right? I wanted to know, like what were the biggest challenges and obstacles you faced during that time? Like also another thing is that was the insurgency period when the civil war was going on. So definitely lots of
Yes.
things were, like not easy.
So to begin with, uh, my partner Bhaskar Dungana, he had studied mass communication from US. So he was studying in US and he came back to Nepal. And then in one of our family gatherings, he said, like, join us cinema business. So my childhood, I thought it was a good idea, and without even giving a thought twice, I agreed to it, and I said, "Why not? Let's do it." So that's how the concept of getting into cinema business started. And then we didn't buy Jai Nepal, we leased Jai Nepal because Jai Nepal is one of the most expensive, even to the most expensive real estate in Kathmandu. And still run it under the lease. But then we took it over on a lease, and then we renovated it as per THX standard with latest projector. But then it was an analog projector. So latest projector, latest sound system. We did all the interior. We thought we'll be able to do renovate it. We thought we will be able to finish the project in 1.5 crore. But then since the property was so old, we ended up spending 3 crores. So that's the beginning of our career into cinema.
So, and I was asking like, what were the biggest challenges or obstacles you faced while starting while starting into the movie business?
First of all, we didn't know the trade. Secondly, we were not sure whether people would, then Krishna or Guna Cinema, they were selling their balcony tickets for 50 rupees, and we were to charge 175 rupees. So it was a big challenge. Price point was a challenge.
Right.
Idea was a challenge. A lot of people from the industry said, then as soon as we opened, from very next day, they said these crazy young guys, they spend so much money in the theater, they don't understand the trade, and then now they'll lose so much of money and things like that. So from the day one, it was a challenge, and then once the project was over, we came into operation, but then we needed some loan from the bank, and none of the bank would give out loans to cinema because it was one of the fastest declining business at that point because of Maoist insurgency. So getting loan from banks was a challenge. So many hurdles, many challenges.
Yes. अनि जय नेपाल फर्स्टमा सुरु हुँदाखेरि सर the first movie that you guys had was Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Once everything was ready, then we came up. We started with Spider-Man.
Yeah. And Spider-Man, talking about Spider-Man, sir, was it the first first Hollywood movie in Nepal, or was it only in Jai Nepal, or in the entire Nepal? Big screen, my first Hollywood movie, chaleko Spider-Man थियो त?
No, prior to that, I think
Uh,
Titanic and all were also released, but this was the
uh,
first time. I mean, legally uh, getting a Hollywood film to Nepal.
oh, okay. Because स्पाइडरम्यानको मलाई चाहिँ एउटा ठुलो कस्तो मेमोरी छ भने चाहिँ लाइक आई युज टु लिभ इन थमेल नि त अनि पछि
Uh,
एभ्री अराउन्ड साँझतिर चाहिँ हामी साथीभाइहरू वी युज टु जस्ट गो अराउन्ड वाकिङ
uh,
जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ जय नेपालको बाटो हुँदै अनि के अरे नक्सलको बाटोबाट फर्किन्थ्यौँ क्या एन्ड आई युज टु
uh,
बी अ बिग फ्यान अफ स्पाइडरम्यान एज अ चाइल्ड and
uh,
but at that point I didn't knew Spider-Man has been made in movie and I saw the poster के त्यो सानो पोस्टरहरू त्यो जयनेवालको साइड टालिरहेको हुन्थ्यो and I saw
uh,
that Spider-Man को movie चाहिँ चलिरहेछ भनेर I went home हुन्छ नि cried and begged my
uh,
father to because I wanted to watch the movie लैजाऊ भनेर unfortunately I
uh,
was not able to watch it in the big screen but मेरो दाइले चाहिँ
uh,
VHS tape लिएर आएर चाहिँ मलाई देखाउनु भएको थियो क्या Spider-Man movie
hey.
so it was and let's say when and like you said Spider-Man was the first Hollywood movie legally brought into Nepal and showcased होइन
Yes.
how did that happen because हिन्दी मुभीहरू त चलिरहेको थियो अनि पछि नेपाली मुभी डेफिनेटली हुन्छ नि चलिरहेको हुन्थ्यो how did you got into
First of all,
contact
there was
with
no
people
studios.
uh-huh.
Well, in between when we were doing our homework to get into cinema business, then we realized a lot of studios they have their regional office in India, Bombay,
Oh, okay
and went and met most of the studio people saying we'll take over property, we'll renovate it as per THX standards, subject to like if you will supply us Hollywood movie, and they agreed. Spider-Man is by Sony, and
Mhm.
Sony's Calcutta office. So I went to Calcutta and met the concerned person. Turned out to be, he studied in Darjeeling and he knew all my friends. So we became a friend instantly, and he gave the right for Nepal. I still
Okay.
remember for $3,000, and then we got
uh,
it here, and then we opened Nepal with that.
oh all right. Alright, sir. Okay. And other thing like movie industry, you got into movie, both the business and travel business, and you travel
Mm,
around the world yourself. You got into then
mm,
movie business. One thing that I can
yeah.
so much relate with your topic is whenever you talk starting of the movie, how did you get motivated? भन्ने कुरामा you always tell one story is पुरानो मुभीहलहरू जब when you go with your girlfriends or your parents or your sisters, it is so unbearable to sit down over there भन्ने कुराहरू जुन भन्नुहुन्छ नि which motivated you
Uh,
and it is so
uh,
relatable with lots of Nepalese at that point. Yeah? And I
uh,
was a
uh,
school student or let's say college when high school पढिरहेको थियो होला. And at that point as well when to go to the movie halls भनेको it was a struggle to take your friends or let's say girlfriends or sisters to that movie hall with you. It is हुन्छ नि साथीभाइ केटाहरूसँग जाँदाखेरि त we don't care but still if you have to go around there with your
uh.
families then it was a big struggle. That is something so relatable that you always say around. So
Yeah, especially with
from Mhm.
female member of your family.
yes it is एकदमै हुन्छ नि लाजै लाग्ने इन्भाइरोमेन्ट बनाइदिन्थ्यो नि त्यो बेला
Mm. I remember going to watch movies with my wife, and every time I used to repent by going. And I mean, guys in the theater, inside the theater, they'll use all kind of foul languages, which makes you so uncomfortable, when you're with your wife. And then I promised myself I'll never go again. And when this idea came, then I was the first one to jump in. At least we'll have a, you know, clean, cultured kind of place where we'll all enjoy.
Mhm. Which it is right now. QFX as a whole. And let's say one thing I wanted to ask Uddin sir to you. You are branded as an entrepreneur in the media,
Yes.
right? So what do you consider yourself? Do you consider yourself an entrepreneur or a businessman? What term do you think, better justifies yourself?
Let's say after getting into cinema business as an entrepreneur, and then over the years, now it has become a proper professional business. It's an established business, but our entrepreneurship doesn't go away like that. We still keep on trying new things. So I still consider myself as an entrepreneur rather than business.
Exactly. So Yoda so like when you said you became an entrepreneur when you started QFX, right? Or let's say, from for me, how what I feel is when you purchase J Nepal, you are a businessman. But when you started QFX, that is when you became an entrepreneur. Okay? Because that was something so new to the industry, and that was one of the biggest challenge. Uh, because people would त्यो टाइममा movie hallहरूको लागि हुन्छ नि, that was something so different and so new, which was not in the market at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to know, if you look at right now, sir, like the new entrepreneurs that is emerging, so many, everyone is calling themselves an entrepreneur. Lots of people, like, and I wanted to know from your point of view, what do you think is the biggest challenge or obstacles being faced by today's entrepreneurs who are, trying to make a name for themselves?
Well, I see a lot of opportunities in Nepal because, until in all my talk programs, Nepal is a virgin land in terms of business, and there are plenty of opportunities. It's just that you have to identify the business, and then you need to put in a lot of hard work, and then finally you'll see the success. So yes, Nepal has a lot of opportunity. Yeah.
And about the obstacle and challenges that today's entrepreneurs are facing?
Well, it comes in the package, because as an entrepreneur, you won't know or understand everything from the beginning, and then while doing it, you'll learn and understand a lot of things, and then you solving all the obstacles. So I think that's how it works. And you learn while doing. So you have to get into something, and then you start learning and solving all the obstacles.
Right. Yeah. Let's say, in a way, do you feel like the word entrepreneur, it is being misused in some context of Nepal? Because now I see, like, everybody is have the name entrepreneur, like in their Instagram feeds or in their LinkedIn, right? But like, for me, for me personally, what I feel is entrepreneur means like being completely crazy with your idea, and entrepreneurship goes hand on hand with innovation, innovating something, like innovating a market which is not still established, and trying to create a market for the product that you're trying to sell, right? And from what I believe, like opening a clothing store cannot be entrepreneurship, I believe. Like it is just a business in the already established market. But if you see, nowadays everybody, like lots of people are calling themselves entrepreneur. Do you ever feel like the word entrepreneur, it is being misused or misunderstood in the context of Nepal right now?
Yeah, a lot of us we like you said, yes, lot of us we mistake the definition of meaning of entrepreneurship. Yeah, the way you define it, that's the correct way. You need to have some crazy idea and turn around that idea. Finally, I mean, over the years of hard work, when you overcome that idea and then establish into a business. So Yeah, but then in general terms, people call themselves entrepreneurs. But
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, it's wrongly word use, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like entrepreneurship, when I see it, one thing is when a businessman makes his place in the market, already existing market, while
Mm,
entrepreneur is someone who creates a market for his product. But
mm,
that is the similar justification definition that in international market is given in international market. Nepal, like I asked that question is because I like I've seen people in lots of magazines
okay.
has been let's say giving out like top 10 youngest entrepreneurs of Nepal भनेर अनि लिस्टहरू दिन्छ अनि पछि I see most of the people who
Mm,
are included there हुन्छ नि they are in a
mm,
restaurant business, let's say, or less they have a IT company which is not something completely new, which is just like which has been running in the company in the industry ma bhairako कुरा they have the new business there, and let's say most of them are funded by their parents stuff, so they don't have risk
mm,
and stuff, and they are counted as the top 10 youngest entrepreneurs of Nepal. And when I see that, I kind of feel हुन्छ नि, they
mm,
they can be branded as a businessman for sure, a business person who has any who have invested in some business, but I just feel that they still cannot be branded as an entrepreneur, because there is a huge difference between a businessman and entrepreneur भन्ने एउटा चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ क्या. So I wanted to get an expert opinion on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I
Uh-huh.
mean, whatever you are defining, that's how it should be.
Hmm.
But then there's a trend of people calling themselves entrepreneur, even though it's
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
es- I mean, established business.
Hmm. Right. So cinema halls and Percy, now I think QFX has grown all over Kathmandu, and there's a possibility that we are growing all over Nepal itself, right? Kathmandu Baira, I believe right now we have 3 branches. Is that correct?
Kathmandu, Bahira, I think we have 6 branches.
6 branches already. All right, six
Yeah.
branches. Ani, yes, the same thing. And then Kathmandu, Bitra, there is big like QFX cinemas. Lots of people, all the people I know, like Kansani movie, and that QFX is the first choice that they have, that they go with. Ani,
Hmm.
but still, now we have QFX in 6 places out of Kathmandu. But still, I do
Yes.
believe there is a big market outside Kathmandu which are still untouched. I know that I can, but
Yes. Yes.
there is a big audience out there as well.
Yes.
Because last time I was talking with
So
one of the director again, but he was telling the same thing to me. नेपाली मुभीको लागि चाहिँ जुन चाहिँ काठमाडौँको अडियन्स जति छ, अडियन्स चाहिँ म्याक्सिमम अडियन्स चाहिँ काठमाडौँ बाहिर छ भन्ने कुरा भएको थियो कि हाम्रो. अनि
hmm.
so most of the money that
Normally,
Nepali.
कुनै पनि, yeah.
Yeah,
Normally,
yeah,
how
go ahead.
it works is
Mm-hmm.
normally how it works is whatever Nepali film movie gets released on the cinema, I
Uh-huh.
think 60% of the revenue comes from Kathmandu and
Okay.
40% of the revenue comes from outside Kathmandu. So if you look at from east to west of Nepal towards the Indian border side, that's where
Uh-huh.
all the cinema traditional cinema stations are there from let's say Kakarbitta to Mahendranagar. So
Uh-huh.
these are all big and small stations for cinemas, be it
Uh-huh.
Nepali, Hindi, or Bhojpuri. English
Okay.
is very small, very very small, but then
Mm-hmm.
Nepali, Hindi, and Bhojpuri has a good market in that in that belt.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. So now, from moving from the cinema hall business and
Mm,
all of the things that you do to movie producing, you went to
yes.
movie producing, from movie halls
Mm,
to producing movies. First produced Kagbeni, directed by
yes.
Busandal, and then came Sano
Yes.
Sansar, directed by late great
Okay.
Alok Nembang. And
Yes.
2014, you came with Suntali, and very recently it was The Man from Kathmandu, right? One thing,
Yes.
actually, Man from Kathmandu, like you said, like how did it performed in the box office? Because I see it has good ratings, but I didn't, like I was not able to get much information about the box office collection of the Man from Kathmandu.
Okay. Uh, Man from Kathmandu didn't perform so well in box office in Nepal.
Mm-hmm.
We later on we were trying to find the answer why it didn't do so well in Nepal. Is one of the reasons was we primarily shot that movie in English language,
Oh,
and
okay.
we were seeing that we were hoping that we'll be able to release it all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then we dubbed it in Nepali for Nepal market, and probably that
Okay.
dubbing didn't work. And
Oh,
probably we
oh,
should have made it in Nepali language and probably
oh.
dubbed it into English later and or just subtitled it and released outside Nepal. But then Man from Kathmandu was a great learning because it was the first Nepali film whereby we got director, assistant director, and all the head of department. They all came from
Hollywood.
Hollywood or Los Angeles, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
and and we did make a very high quality Nepali film,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and probably subject was also a little problematic because a lot of people didn't understand the story also. But yes, it was a great learning, and then
Mm-hmm.
it has motivated me to establish a studio and then produce at least 5 6 films in a year. And I'm
Uh,
working on that line, and I have a
okay.
few good filmmakers on board already. So
Uh,
hopefully, now it has been pushed, but then hopefully when situation becomes better, then we'll again push the
mm-hmm.
studio.
Great, great. Actually, then the first movie, Kagbeni, which was completely different than the ongoing trend in the movie
Hmm.
industry. I watched that Kagbeni when I was in school, and I still remember that that was the quality of the movie. जुन चाहिँ त्यो बेला मैले
Yeah,
नेपाली मुभीहरू हेरेकै थिइनँ अनि पछि आई वाच
uh,
कागबेनी एन्ड आई थट
that was
वाज
in
आई
2008. Yeah.
या 2008 आई वाज इन स्कुल एन्ड वेन आई वाच
Hmm.
कागबेनी लाइक एउटा एक्सपेक्टेसन लेभल कस्तो हाई पुऱ्याइदियो क्या त्यो मुभीले ओ
Hmm.
हुन्छ नि कस्तो दिस इज द लेभल यो लेभलमा पुगिसकेको छ नेपाली मुभी इन्डस्ट्री भन्ने एउटा कस्तो एक्सपेक्टेसन पुऱ्याइदियो थियो बट द्याट वाज द ओन्ली मुभी त्यो एक्सपेक्टेसन लेभललाई मिट गर्ने खालको मुभी कि त्यसपछि अलिकति क्यामराजहरू र इक्विपमेन्टहरू चाहिँ अलिक राम्रो युज हुन थाल्यो बट स्टिल स्टोरी लाइन एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ गोज टु द सेम ओल्ड पहिला जस्तो चल्दा थियो त्यहीतिर ढल्किन थाल्यो नि त बट
Hmm.
कागबेनी वाज जस्ट क्रिएटेड द्याट बेन्च मार्क एन्ड अगेन केम सानो संसार विच वाज एन असम मुभी it was inspired by Korean drama, like the My Sassy Girl,
Oh,
but it's still
nice accessible film.
yes, but it's still it had Nepali feeling. Nepali मान्छेले हेर्दाखेरि पनि we could relate to it so much, and but see direction
Hmm.
and the production was so awesome. And you're a Sano Sansar, like if you have said in your previous interviews as well, sir, कि
Hmm.
नेपाली मुभीले जस्तै इन्डियन मुभीहरू कपी गर्नु पर्दैन we can create our own identity. That is something that you have
Hmm.
said numerous times, होइन
Hmm.
and it is for sure and now there are a couple of movies which are being produced which can really be a benchmark कि नेपालको मुभी हो यो त नेपाली पुरै नेपालीपनामा मुभी छ भन्ने खालको एउटा हुन्छ नि but
Uh,
if you look at Sano, starting from Sano Sansar itself,
hmm.
सानो संसारले एउटा मुभी इन्डस्ट्रीमा के छाप छोडिदियो भने चाहिँ हुन्छ नि कोरियन मुभीबाट कपी गर्न थाल्यो सानो संसारपछि इफ यु रिमेम्बर देयर वर अ ट्रेन्ड सानो संसारपछि एउटा ट्रेन्डै निस्किएको थियो कि कपाल लट्स अफ मुभिज वेयर कपिड फ्रम कोरियन मुभीको स्टोरीहरू कपी गर्दै बनाउन थाल्ने एउटा लहरै चलेको थियो नि त
Uh,
but like let's say भनौँ सानो संसार was inspired by My Sassy Girl but it just took
yes.
एउटा कुनै सानो सानो पार्टहरू My Sassy Girl को लिएर it was created as a Nepali movie and the production
Yeah,
level and
just
everything else
it
was
was
great.
it was just an inspiration from my
Yeah.
sassy girl, but then
Mm-hmm.
rest was it was all.
Exactly.
Then we had a writer, Hanif,
Mm-hmm.
a guy called Hanif. Now he lives in Taiwan. So
Mm-hmm.
he wrote the story, and it was a really nice story. If it was today, then probably we would have made a lot of money from that movie.
Yes,
But then we
exactly.
didn't make money.
Mm-hmm. I was just coming to that. And Sano Sansar was way ahead of his
Okay.
time. Bhunsani, that is for sure.
No,
And
how it started was, how we got into production was because, see, Nepal was, then Nepal, let's say up till 2008, Nepal was all in on analog. And analog
right.
is a very expensive, let's say on celluloid, analog
Mm-hmm.
technology. So analog celluloid technology is very expensive. So if we need to, the only facility which was in Nepal was, Sai Surgical Sansthan, which was then privatized to NFDC, and NFDC, most of the equipment were not working. And then
Uh-huh.
for even for small work, you have to go to Bombay if you
Uh-huh.
are working on celluloid. So a lot of Nepali producers they used to approach us to show their films in Jai Nepal and Kumari. But then before showing it to in our theaters, we used to go and watch that film, and though most of the film were not watchable. And if we
Uh-huh.
tell them ki your film won't do good in Jai Nepal or Kumari, then
Uh-huh.
they will get they won't take it
They won't
nicely,
like it,
and
right?
they won't like it. And then
Uh-huh.
most of them they thought ki they made film which will go to Oscar or something. But
Uh-huh.
then quality was bad, storyline was bad, production values
Mm.
were bad. I mean, all kind of things were bad. And then we thought declining to so many producers branded us as anti-Nepali film people. So then we thought, why not to convert this industry into digital so that everything can be
Mhm.
done in and then once it's digital, it's cost effective, and then probably people will save a lot of money from production and spend that money in creating more production values on the screen. So that was the idea, and then we did a lot of research, we did a lot of traveling, and then finally we managed to convince UFO Movies, which was just 1 year old in India, and we brought them, we compelled them to come to Nepal and work with us because it was a good technology and it was, affordable technology for Nepali industry. So, so we brought them to, we got the agency for Nepal and we bought 14 sets of exhibition and projectors and servers, and then we brought it to Nepal and we installed on those screens which were already doing very well all over Nepal. And
Mhm.
then we thought we'll make movies so that other producers will follow the suit, and that's how we got into the idea of Kagbeni. My partner Bhaskar wrote the story of Kagbeni, and then he did a lot of research in terms of equipment, and finally we got a camera from American company called Silicon Imaging for a very reasonable price, and then that's how then we got into production, and we did simultaneously two projects, Kagbeni and Sano Sansar. And
Mhm.
when we released the Kagbeni, Sano Sansar was almost ready, and after a few
Oh,
months
okay.
we released Sano Sansar. So my
Mhm.
point is, the Kagbeni and Sano Sansar, both the projects were pilot projects to convert Nepali industry from celluloid to digital, and
Mhm.
we were doing all kind of experimenting with technology at that point of time. But after Sano Sansar, no Nepali producer wanted to get into digital filmmaking, and then we had to woo and coax a lot of Nepali producers to get into digital. You know that will be so easy for them, and then all of the post production can be done in Nepal. You don't have to go to Bombay, or you don't have to
Mhm.
depend on Bombay. We can do it ourselves. So finally, then one of the successful filmmaker was Chavi Raghuja, and we managed to convince him. And then once he started making films on digital, then other producers also started following the suit. And that's how, by 2010, we managed to convert all the cinemas in Nepal into digital. And we were 100% digitized in terms of cinema making, cinema exhibition, cinema post-production, everything digitally. And probably we were one of the earliest one in the world to do so, because we had a very small industry in Nepal. Then it was only around 100 screen, and we could do it within a year. I mean, we started the project in 2009, and by 2010, or 2 years, from 2008 to 2010, within 2 years, we converted all the screens in Nepal into digital. So digital has been a great success story for Nepali film industry, and we did it at the right time, and we could convert it into right time, so that all the Nepali film producers, I mean, if you make a good film, and we knew for sure someday someone will make a good film, and if that film goes viral, then the people will make a lot of money out of it. And that happened with the Loot.
Exactly.
I think it was in 2012. Yeah. And then Chaka Panja series.
Yes.
I mean, Chaka Panjas are one of the highest grossing film in Nepali history.
Yes. The top 3 spot of the highest grossing movies are Chaka Panja 1, 2, and 3.
Yes. Yeah. Highest grossing movies. Yeah. So we knew when we were doing the project that whenever somebody makes good film, if the film goes viral, then they'll make a lot of money out of it. And for that, I mean, Deepak Rajgiri and his team has been lucky to achieve that. Not with one, with all the four movies.
So Uddin sir, now let's say you produced a digital movie, you with the intent to change the movie cinema industry of Nepal lai alikati change हुनुपर्छ भन्ने एउटा intention लिएर you started with Kagbeni in 2008, right? And today it's like more than a decade after. Where do you see Nepali industry now? Because what I see is, technically Nepali movie has grown so much. Actors are so so much better than they used to be. It is great now. But still, do you feel like we have not been able to capitalize on this opportunity right now with the technical aspect, which is we are great. Actors are coming, great actors everywhere if you see, but still, story wise and let's say production wise, do you still feel like we're not being able to capitalize, or we're not being able to make as much progress as we should have been making till now?
Yes, that's a true statement. I mean, technically, now we have all kind of cameras, post-production setups, and things like that. Even if you watch any Nepali film on your screen, I mean, it's a very high quality, good thing. But the problem again, I mean, it's been over the years problem. Writing has been not good in Nepali film industry for ever since we got into it, and then and there are very few writers, and then a lot of I don't know, producers, what motivates them, or what motivates them to come to cinema, what motivates them to make films. So I do not understand that point. People pour in so much of money, and till last year we were making around 100 films a year, and out of 100 films, probably 8 to 10 films were doing good. The rest of the films were just not doing well at all. So people think, most of the producers, they think, यसरी फिल्म बनाइन्छु, यस्तो कथा राखिदिन्छु, यस्तो फाइटको सिन राखिदिन्छु, यस्तो आइटम नम्बर राखिदिन्छु, फिल्म चलि नै हाल्छ. But then those days are long gone, because cinema goers, audiences have become so smart. Before they go to cinema, they'll check all the reviews, watch trailers and everything, and they can decide by seeing trailer whether that film is good or not, or what to watch or not. And that's why I say audiences has become very smart, and we need to re-improve our cinema making skills, and that's one of the reasons that I'm trying to establish a studio kind of concept whereby we can make at least 5-6 films in a year, which will be a pilot again, you know, pilot kind of project which can guide to many other filmmakers. Also, we need parallelly we need to train our keep on training our local technicians, our script writers. Parallelly, we need to have those workshops going on, training going on, so that we end up making good film. As an exhibitor, we consider ourselves as an exhibitor because we have 12 properties, 27 screens, and growing. So what we need is content. We need films to show in our theaters, and history has shown that if you make good Nepali film, nothing like it. The highest grossing film in Nepal today can still be a Nepali film. So, as an exhibitor, we want to strengthen filmmaking, so that filmmakers make good films which will run in theaters and will make money by showing their films. So we need to make good films, and to make good films, what can we do to improve the writing skill, improve our technicians' skill, improve our cameraman's skill, so that we keep on making good films. So one of the reasons why I did Man from Kathmandu was we invited all the head of departments from LA. They were all filmmakers, and at least our technical people could work under them, and they can learn more skills through them. So that was one of the motives. And now that I have partnered with, like ace filmmaker like Dipendra Gauchan, and there's another guy, Kiran Bhakta Joshi, who's worked in Disney for 18 years now. He runs this Incest and Rain studio here in Kathmandu. So I've invited them to join my platform so that we can all make good Nepali films, and then parallelly, train all the technicians and story writers. So that's our ongoing project. Yes.
All right. And so, have you, scouted the independent movie making scene of Nepal? There are lots of independent movie directors or filmmakers who are into right now short movie or banairako, who are independently making short movies, and who have gained so much popularity in the underground scene itself. Have you ever scouted those those people, or have you thought about scouting those people and taking them under your wings?
Yes. See, we were in the verge in the month of May now. We were supposed to have our, board meeting, and my, Dipender Gauchan, he lives in Cambodia. Kiran Bhakta Joshi lives in LA, and we were planning to have our meetings in the month of May. So now, one of the idea was to, we were already collecting information for all the, filmmakers, be it short filmmaker or thing. And then we had already started meeting people also. But now whole thing will be postponed by, I don't know, probably 6 months to a year. But then we will not, as soon as things normalizes, we'll get back to that again. And then, like you said, yes, we'll be looking for a lot of skills around. Because to make 5-6 films in a year from one company, it's a big task. And if we can successfully do that, then probably later years we can make more films.
Right. Yeah. Just like I said before, like in our maybe second episode or Kailio, we were talking with one of the independent director himself. And see, we were discussing about the lack of studios in Nepali industry. Lots of movies which are being produced. Let's say Nepal ma jastै Disney जस्तो studio छैन, Fox studio जस्तो त्यस्तो छैन. अनि पछि independent movie maker जति पनि छ, like they either need to scout the producers on their own हुन्छ नि चिने जानेको मान्छेसँग production गरिदिनु भन्ने खालको एउटा रिक्वेस्ट लानुपर्ने but if we have the production studios to whom they can pitch their ideas, and if the idea is good, maybe the production studios can look after the हुन्छ नि production देखि सबै पैसा सैसाको problem देखि सबै they can look into it and they can solely focus on making movies, how to make a good movie भन्ने कुरामा they can focus हैन. We're talking about that. And Tricity Studios, sir, that is another thing I wanted to talk about. So what is your vision with Tricity Studios going forward?
So that's the vision. Tricity Studios is a platform whereby all the independent filmmakers, they can come with their story ideas, and then we'll evaluate their ideas and their script, and then we'll help them to make those films. So that's what Tricity Studios is all about, and that's the reason I roped in Dipendra and Kiran Bhai, so that there are qualified people who can help all our independent filmmakers. So that's the reason. I myself, I'm not a filmmaker, or I'm not a creative person by myself, but because I've been in the industry for so long, and I know people all around the world, so I can at least connect those dots and then improve our own filmmaking skills.
That is great, sir. That is great. So one more thing about the movie industry that I wanted to ask. मैले like जस्तै अघि भने नि sir, like हाम्रो सानो संसार, because it was a good movie. It was, let's say हुन्छ नि हामी जस्तो मान्छे, people from my category liked Sano Sansar not because it was inspired by Korean drama, but we liked it because of the production value and how good it was made. हैन? But lots of people there from the movie industry itself, what they've तिनीहरूले के बुझ्यो त भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ कोरियन ड्रामामा को कपी गरेर चाहिँ बनाउनु पर्ने रहेछ भन्ने एउटा चाहिँ मेबी दे इट स्ट्रक इन देयर माइन्ड कि त्यसपछि एउटा लहर चल्यो कोरियन ड्रामा कपी गर्ने लहरै चल्यो. एन्ड देन केम लुट, अनि लुट वाज अनदर मास्टरपिस इन नेपाली मुभी इन्डस्ट्री, अनि पिपल लभड इट. एन्ड अगेन त्यसपछिको एउटा लहर हेर्नुभयो भने सर, there are people, let's say, movies which are made, those are loosely inspired by loot, and it is not as good as loot, but what you can relate is loot le euta ke sikayo ta Nepali movie industry lai bhanechi मुख छाटेको हुनुपर्छ, गल्लीमा दौडिनु पर्छ, अनि त्यसपछि it should be item number एउटा हुनुपर्छ भने that is अर्को एउटा कुरा सिकाए, त्यसपछि त्यसको एउटा लहर चल्यो. So how do you take that, एउटा जुन चाहिँ एउटै कुरा लिएर अनि पछि अलिकति टोडमोड गरेर रिपिट गराइदिने र अर्को एउटा मुभी सेम क्याटेगोरीमा अर्को मुभी बनाइदिने, जुन चाहिँ एउटा अर्को ट्रेन्ड छ नि नेपाली इन्डस्ट्रीको, जुन चाहिँ एउटा राम्रो चलेको मुभीलाई लिने, त्यसबाट दुई चारवटा कुरा निकाल्ने अनि पछि त्यसलाई नै अर्को मुभी बनाउने. हाउ डु यु टेक द्याट, लाइक लेट्स से त्यसको बारेमा तपाईँले के भनिदिनुहुन्छ?
अब यस्तो छ भने नि, लाइक लास्ट इयर वी प्रोड्युस अलमोस्ट 100 फिल्म्स हैन. त्यो 100वटा फिल्ममा त धेरै जसो फिल्महरु त यस्तै खालको फिल्महरु नै हुन्छ. कतिवटा फिल्म त भनौँ न एक अर्काबाट छुटिँदा पनि छुटिँदैन. तर सेम द्याट अब त्यो कबड्डीको सिरिजहरु बनिरहेछ हैन, सिक्वेल्सहरु आइसक्यो, 1 2 3 आइसक्यो. Those movies performs really well in cinema or box office. त्यस्तै अब जात्रा छ, जात्राको सिरिज छ. So few filmmakers have really managed to leave mark in the industry whereby audiences are always waiting for their film. चाहे त्यो दिपरागिरीको छक्का पाण्डाकै सिक्वेल होला अथवा कबड्डीको होला अथवा उसको होला हैन. तब अरूहरू जो हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरू आफ्नो ओरिजिनल आइडिया भन्दा पनि एक के भन्छ कट एन्ड पेस्टमा विश्वास गरेर फिल्महरु बनाइराख्नु भएको छ. त्यो फिल्महरु चाहिँ चलि नै रहेको छैन. त्यो फिल्महरु नचलिसकेपछि उहाँहरूलाई त घाटा छँदैछ हैन. सँगसँगै अब त्यो फिल्म हलमा लाग्दाखेरि त्यो हलमा फिल्म चलेन भने त्यो हललाई पनि निकै घाटा छ. जुन कुरा हाम्रो निर्माता साथीहरूले चाहिँ के बुझ्दैनन् भने फिल्म चलेन भने चलेन भन्छन्, तर सिनेमा हल भनेको त एउटा फिक्स खालको इन्स्टिट्युसन छ जहाँ all kind of people are working there and we have to pay their overheads every month.
Yeah.
अनि त्यसले गर्दा त्यो फिल्महरू चल्दिएन भने चाहिँ सिनेमा हललाई चाहिँ निकै नै अप्ठ्यारो हुन्छ र सिनेमा हलहरू चुजी हुनुको कारण पनि त्यही हो कि नचल्ने फिल्म पढ्यो र फिल्म चलेन भने चाहिँ सिनेमा हललाई चाहिँ निकै घाटा हुन्छ अनि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि हामी चाहिँ अलिकति चुजी भएर नै फिल्महरू हेरेर यो फिल्म हामी कहाँ चल्छ कि चल्दैन भनेर चुज गरेर नै हेर्छु र चलाउँछु होइन बट सेइङ द्याट वी स्टिल म्यानेज टु रन let's say 30-35 Nepali films every year in our QFX. त्यो पनि हामीले त्यत्रो स्क्रुटिनीमा राखेर चेक गरेर सबै गरेर वान अफ द रिजन इज QFXले एकदमै छानी छानी नेपाली फिल्म देखाइदिनुको कारण के छ भने त्यसले गर्दा नै यो नेपाली अडियन्सहरूको सङ्ख्या बढ्यो होला भोलि QFXले जेपाइदै नेपाली फिल्म देखाइदियो भने त्यो राम्रो बन्ने नेपाली फिल्महरू पनि त्यसको मारमा पर्न जान्छ र इभेन्चुअली अडियन्सहरूले नेपाली फिल्म हेर्नै छोडिदिएला भन्ने हो त्यसले गर्दा नै हामीले एकदमै चुज गरेर चुजी भएर त्यो नेपाली फिल्महरू देखाइरहेको कारण पनि त्यही हो अब सेइङ द्याट आई डोन्ट सी मैले चाहिँ मलाई चाहिँ के लाग्छ भने इन्डिया पछिको सबभन्दा भाइब्रेन्ट सिनेमा इन्डस्ट्री भनेको नेपालमा यदि हामीले पाकिस्तानमा हेरौँ बङ्गलादेशमा हेरौँ श्रीलङ्कामा हेऱ्यौँ भुटान त झन् सानै भइहाल्यो मलदिप्स पनि एकदम सानो हो हाम्रो सार्क रिजनमै यदि हेर्ने हो भने इन्डिया पछि नेपाल नै हो कि सबभन्दा राम्रो इस्टाब्लिस र भनौँ न भाइब्रेन्ट फिल्म इन्डस्ट्री किनभने हाम्रो यहाँको नेपालको सिनेमाको पाइ सेयर हेर्ने हो भने अलमोस्ट के भन्छ 40% जस्तो नेपाली फिल्म नै छ almost 30%, 35% English Hindi films, 15-20% Nepali Hollywood films, especially Bhojpuri films. अब पाकिस्तानमा हेर्ने हो भने पाकिस्तानमा चाहिँ के भन्छ पाकिस्तानी फिल्महरू इन्डस्ट्री नै अहिले बल्ल रिभाइभ भइरहेको छ किनभने त्यहाँ हिन्दी फिल्महरू लाग्न थाल्यो हिन्दी फिल्म लागेपछि मार्केट इम्प्रुभ हो मार्केट इम्प्रुभ भएपछि फेरि पाकिस्तानी फिल्महरू रिभाइभ भइरहेको सिचुएसन छ तर त्यहाँ हिन्दी फिल्म बन्द गरिदिने बित्तिकै पाकिस्तानको सिचुएसन चाहिँ बिग्रिँदो रहेछ अहिले पाकिस्तानमा भनौँ न यो लकडाउन अगाडि चाहिँ त्यो इन्डिया पाकिस्तानको त्यो झगडामा हिन्दी फिल्म बन्द भयो त्यहाँको हलवाला सबै टेन्सनमै थिए आई नो लट अफ देम आई स्पिक टु लट अफ देम सो द्याट्स हाउ आई नो बङ्गलादेशमा त हिन्दी फिल्म अब त्यो पार्टिसनदेखि नै ब्यान छ त्यहाँ गर्दैन त्यहाँको बाङ्ला फिल्महरू पनि एकदमै खत्तम छ र त्यो फिल्महरू खासै हलहरू चल्दैन अनि ढाकामा 2-3 मल्टिप्लेक्स छ जो प्योरली दे सर्भाइभ अन हलिउड फिल्म मालदिप्समा 2 सिनेमा हल छ दे सर्भाइभ अन हलिउड फिल्म श्रीलङ्कामा आफ्नै उनीहरूको तमिल फिल्महरू छ र अरू उनीहरूको लोकल फिल्म छ हिन्दी फिल्म खासै चल्दैन अनि अलिकति चल्ने भनेको इङ्ग्लिस फिल्म हो सो सबैको त्यो हाम्रो सार्क रिजनमा यसो हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ सबभन्दा भाइब्रेन्ट इन्डस्ट्री भनेको नेपालमै हो नेपाली फिल्म पनि चल्छ हिन्दी फिल्म पनि चल्छ इङ्ग्लिस फिल्म पनि चल्छ र अहिले भोजपुरी फिल्महरू पनि चल्छ खालि च्यालेन्ज चाहिँ के छ भने नेपाली फिल्म अझै हामीले बेटर कसरी गर्ने अझै राम्रो कसरी बनाउने र अझै यो पाइ सेयरलाई चाहिँ कसरी बढाउने भन्ने चाहिँ हामीले ध्यान दिनुपर्छ र भनौँ न चक्रपञ्जले एउटा के देखाइदियो भने चाहिँ 20 करोडको बक्स अफिस हुन सक्छ अहिलेको कन्टेक्स्टमा र अब अहिले त मल्टिप्लेक्सेसहरू अल ओभर नेपाल बनि नै रहेको अवस्थामा छ त्यो महेन्द्रनगरमा बनिरहेको छ धनगढीमा बनिरहेको छ पहिला मल्टिप्लेक्स थिएन होइन अब त्यो सबै स्टेसनहरूमा पनि मल्टिप्लेक्सहरू आउने हो भोलि यो 20 को 40 र 60 हुन चाहिँ टाइमै लाग्छ फोकस चाहिँ राम्रो फिल्म बनाउने राम्रो कन्टेन्ट होस् राम्रो कथावस्तु होस् र हाम्रो नेपालीहरूलाई मनपर्ने विषयवस्तुमा हुने हो भने आई सी लट अफ ब्राइट फ्युचर फर नेपाली फिल्म इन्डस्ट्री प्रोभाइडेड अब भनौँ न अलिकति हामीले पनि मेहनत गर्नुपर्छ किनभने एक्जिबिटर्सहरूलाई प्रदर्शकहरूलाई बेसिकल्ली राम्रो फिल्महरू चाहिन्छ र राम्रो फिल्म बनाउनलाई हामीले चाहिँ फिल्म मेकर्सहरूलाई कसरी प्रोत्साहन दिन सक्छौँ, कसरी उहाँहरूलाई भनौँ अरू सहयोगहरू गर्न सक्छौँ, त्यसमा चाहिँ अलिकति हामीले फोकस चाहिँ गर्नुपर्छ।
राइट बिकज throughout the time कतिवटा मुभीहरू चाहिँ विच आर सो ग्रेट, जस्तै वान अफ द मुभी द्याट आई रियली लाइक वाज पशुपति प्रसाद एन्ड तलकजङ भर्सेस तुल्के. दोज वेयर एकदमै लाइक
Simple movie,
नेपाली.
but really
Yes,
nice movie. So
yes, right. You know, like all of that was very heart touching movieहरू थियो नि त. And recently, I believe last year 2019 there was another movie released called Password, and they claim to be like 30 crore investment of a movie. Sunny Leone there was in the item number, and I didn't watch the movie, but when I saw the review, like there was a guy in E Kantipur E News my exam review lekheko थियो, and he branded the movie as one of the most not to watch movie ever made. So because Password एउटा movie what it showed was it is people are not hesitating to invest money in the movie, but the thing is how is that invested money being being used. किनकि अघि हजुरले भन्नुभयो नि त लाइक आइटम नम्बर राख्छौँ र यस्तो बनाउँछ मुभी भनेर मेबी इट ह्यापन, बट सनी लियोनीलाई ल्याउँछौँ एन्ड पिपल विल वाच इट, मेबी द्याट वाज देयर मेन्टालिटी, बट द्याट इज नट हाउ
त्यही त
मुभी वर्क्स.
त्यतिले चल्दा एउटा आइटम नम्बर राखिदिउँ अथवा सनी लियोनी ल्याएर राख्छौँ त्यो चलिहाल्छ भने त्यो दोज डेज आर गन. संसारभरि वर्षमा 10,000 फिल्म बन्छ, यु अग्री?
यस
होइन, संसारभरि वर्षमा 10,000 फिल्म बन्छ होइन. इन्डियाले बनाइन्छ पुरा इन्डियाको रिजनल ल्याङ्ग्वेजहरू सबै जोडेर हेर्ने भने त 2,000 फिल्म त इन्डियाले बनाइदिन्छ. अर्को 1,000वटा फिल्म त हलिउडले बनाइदिन्छ होला. त्यसपछि संसारभरिको फिल्म छ, किसिम किसिमको फिल्म छ होइन. अब इरानियन फिल्महरू छ, तिनीहरू आफ्नै राइटमा के भन्छ पपुलर छ. कोरियन फिल्महरू छ, तिनीहरू आफू पुरै कोरियन फिल्मले त एज अ म्याटर अफ फ्याक्ट के भन्छ पारिस त पुरै खाइदिइसक्यो होइन. जापानिज फिल्म इन्डस्ट्रीदेखि लिएर चाइनिज फिल्म इन्डस्ट्रीहरू सबलाई खाइदिइसक्यो होइन. अनि कोरियन हेज बिकम आई मिन वान अफ द सुपर पावर अफ source of I mean one of the heavyweight of filmmakers. सोप ड्रामाजहरू पनि त्यति नै पपुलर छ, तिनीहरूको फिल्महरू पपुलर छ. नभन्दै उनीहरूले 2019 को त्यो पनि जित्यो,
अस्कर पनि जित्यो.
त्यसले गर्दाखेरि अब हामीले चाहिँ कस्तो खालको फिल्म बनाउने त? हामीले हिन्दीको फर्मेटमा बनाउने, नाच्ने गाने गाउने कुराहरू राखेर बनाउने हो भने त हिन्दी फिल्म त्यसको लागि त पर्याप्तै छ. हिन्दी फिल्मै वर्षको 600-700 800 त हिन्दी फिल्मै बन्छ. हामीले त्यो किन कपी गरिराख्नु पर्यो? त्यो एउटा फर्मेट छ. त्यो फर्मेट हिन्दी फिल्मको फर्मेट हिन्दी फिल्मकै लागि ठिक छ. हाम्रो हिन्दी फिल्मको फर्मेटमा नेपाली फिल्म किन बनाउनु पर्यो? अझ हाम्रो कोरियनको फर्मेटमा नेपाली फिल्म बनाउनु पर्यो. हामी आफ्नै एउटा आइडेन्टिटी क्रिएट गर्न सक्छौँ. अनि बिस्तारै हामी अनि जसरी इरानियन फिल्म अथवा युरोपियन फिल्म अथवा कोरियन फिल्म संसारभरि पपुलर छ, त्यसरी नै पनि नेपाली फिल्म बिस्तारै पपुलर हुन सक्छ. डिपेन्ड्स अन सब्जेक्ट, डिपेन्ड्स अन हाउ वी टेल आवर स्टोरिज होइन. नेपालमा आफ्नै हाम्रो यत्रो कथाहरू छ, त्यसलाई हामीले राम्रोसँग एक्जिक्युट गर्न सक्नुपर्छ, राम्रोसँग स्टोरी भन्न सक्नुपर्छ. अनि त्यसको चाहिँ हामीले एउटा आफ्नै नेपाली फिल्मको एउटा आइडेन्टिटी क्रिएट गर्न सक्नुपर्छ. हामीले हलिउडसँग कम्पेयरै गर्न सक्दैनौँ. सपनामा पनि नसोचे हुन्छ कि हलिउडको स्ट्यान्डर्डको फिल्महरू हामीले नेपालमा बनाउन सक्छौँ. हामीले हिन्दी फिल्मको के भन्छ कपी किन गर्नु पऱ्यो? जबकि हिन्दी फिल्मले नै एउटा अब अझै खानहरूको फिल्महरू छ, त्यो 100-200 करोड रुपियाँ हालेर बनाउने फिल्ममा हामी किन कम्पिटिसन गर्न जाने? हाम्रो फिल्मको बजेटै जम्मा 2-3 करोडको बजेटमा हामी जब फिल्म बनाइरहेको छौँ भने हामी हाम्रो कथावस्तु, हाम्रो स्क्रिप्ट, हाम्रो कन्टेन्टमै हामीले ध्यान दिनु पर्यो र हामीले आफ्नो एउटा आइडेन्टिटी क्रिएट गर्नु पर्यो भन्ने चाहिँ हाम्रो सुरुदेखिको एउटा मान्यता थियो. त्यो नै मान्यता अनुसार चाहिँ यदि हामीले काम गर्न पायौँ भने चाहिँ हामीले हाम्रो इन्डस्ट्रीलाई चिनाउन सक्छौँ. अब क्षणिक फाइदा होइन, यो अब यस्तो एउटा बनाइदिउँ, यस्तो खालको गरिदिउँ भनेर त्यस्तो क्षणिक फाइदाको लागि चाहिँ मान्छेहरू टर्न आउँछन्, अनसक्सेसफुल हुन्छन् अनि हराउँछन्. तर जो राम्रो फिल्म मेकर्सहरू छ उनीहरू त अझै छन्, उनीहरूले अझै फिल्म बनाइरहेको छ र हामीलाई चाहिँ खाँचो यतिखेर चाहिँ अझै राम्रो फिल्म मेकर्सहरूको छ, जुन अघि सजीवले भने जस्तै त्यो त इन्डिपेन्डेन्ट फिल्म मेकर्सहरू जुन अहिले नयाँ छ उनीहरूलाई हामीले खोज्नु पर्यो, ल्याउनु पर्यो र हामीले हाम्रो उसमा उनीहरूलाई अझै उनीहरूलाई के भन्छ चाहिन्छ भने उनीहरूलाई अझै ट्रेनिङ गर्न सकिन्छ अथवा उनीहरूलाई गाइड गर्न सकिन्छ, ग्रुम गर्न सकिन्छ, so that they end up becoming a good filmmaker.
Yes, very well said, sir. Very well said. So moving on from the movie industry, sir, let's talking about multiplexes and cinema halls. Today is like 62nd day of lockdown. Like COVID-19 pandemic has hit all over the world. But we don't have any vaccines here, no antidotes. So there is a possibility in case of lockdown kholi halyo bhane pani there will be very less people, or let's say very less number of people who will be interested in going out in public. So when that happens, it is very certain that entertainment business is going to get a big hit, because entertainment business will not be counted as an essential. So people will not, that will not be their priority. So like when that happened, QFX, let's if just talking about QFX, like how are we like planning to tackle that situation? Because I believe QFX has hundreds and hundreds of staff all over Nepal, right? And all of those are dependent on the job that they have with QFX. So like when when entertainment business gets hit, no, it's not just like the like movie makers or top guys in the industry get hit, but also the job holders who work for QFX and who work for other cinema hall businesses, they get the most hit. So what are you guys planning on, like what might be the future of the cinema halls in Nepal after the lockdown or after this pandemic?
यसमा चाहिँ अब एक्ज्याक्टली यस्तै होला र यसरी नै जाला भन्न चाहिँ गाह्रो छ हैन.
Definitely.
अब त्यहाँ there are we've been reading we've been in touch with with people from similar industry from around the world. I've been participating in a lot of webinars regarding related to cinema business, and I've been listening to and reading a lot of articles and things like. अहिलेसम्म कसैको पनि केही खास ठोस कुरा चाहिँ के पनि छैन. अनि औषधि नआउन्जेलसम्म के गर्ने भन्ने एउटा खाली उपायहरूको कुरा छ. How do we disinfect after every show? How do we, how do we only sell 50% or even less tickets so that we maintain social distancing within the theaters? And how do we minimize our in-person कुराहरु जस्तो खाना बेच्ने कुरा होला, टिकट बेच्ने कुरा. How do we lessen that? त्यसमा चाहिँ हामीले आन्तरिक रूपमा our teams are working on it. We are coming out with a lot of new SOPs, a lot of new ideas, and also getting a lot of ideas from other industries or other countries, from other countries. But the main thing is मलाई चाहिँ के लाग्छ भने अहिलेलाई त अब हलहरु बन्द छ. भोलि नेपाल सरकारले अरु कुराहरु खोल्दै जाला, बिस्तारै अनि सिनेमा हल पनि खोलिएला. अनि त्यतिन्जेलसम्म बेस्ट प्र्याक्टिसेसहरु पनि आउला. फर एक्जाम्पल अब युएस मा हलहरु खोल्न थालेछ हैन, युरोपमा अलिअलि खोल्न थालेछ, कोरियामा खोल्न थालेछ, त्यहाँको लर्निङहरु आउँदै छ हैन. So also we'll learn a lot of things from them also, so that we put in practice in our business here. To basically to save keeping our audiences. त्यसले गर्दा दुईटा कुरा छ कि, एउटा चाहिँ खोल्ने कुरा छ, एउटा चाहिँ ग्लोबल सप्लाई अफ फिल्मसको पनि कुरा छ. किनभने हामीलाई हिन्दी फिल्म पनि चाहियो, हामीलाई हलिउडको फिल्म पनि चाहिन्छ. हिन्दी फिल्म कहिले स्टार्ट हुन्छ त? इन्डियामा त कोरोनाको केसेस बढ्दै गइरहेछ. I don't foresee के भन्छ बिस्तारै इन्डिया खोले तापनि केसेसहरू बढेको हिसाबले त्यहाँ पनि टाइम लाग्न सक्छ त्यो अब फर इक्जाम्पल अब निर्माताले त्यत्रो करोडौँ रुपियाँ लगाएर फिल्म बनाएको हुन्छ हल खुल्न बित्तिकै उसले पनि उसको फिल्म लगेर त्यो रिलिज गर्दैन ऊ पनि वेट एन्ड वाचमा त बस्छ कि कस्तो he'll also want to see how the industry pans अब त्यत्रो पैसा लगानी भएको हुन्छ सो च्यालेन्जेस चाहिँ म त्यहाँ सप्लाई अफ फिल्मसको च्यालेन्जेसहरू चाहिँ म देखिरहेको छु अनि उसले हलिउडले चाहिँ एन्ड अफ जुलाईमादेखि यो अस्तिको जुन त्यो पोस्टपोन भएको फिल्म छ बुलान्च त्यहाँबाट सुरु हुँदैछ होइन बुलान्चको छ फक्सको एउटा फिल्म छ दुईवटा फिल्महरू चाहिँ जुलाई एन्डबाट राखेको छ तर इन्डस्ट्री एज सच चाहिँ अलिकति भनौँ न अलिक सेपमा आउनलाई अलिकति बाहिर हलहरू खुलिसकेपछि त्यहाँको बेस्ट प्र्याक्टिसेसहरूको कुराहरू जान्नलाई हामी कहाँसम्म आइपुग्दाखेरि चाहिँ अगस्त सेप्टेम्बर हुन्छ होला बाई देन अलिकति थिङ्सहरू विल नर्मलाइज अहिलेभन्दा धेरै नर्मलाइज हुन्छ अलिकति फिल्मको सप्लाईहरू पनि हुन्छ होला अनि त्यसपछि मात्रै यो अलिकति त्यो के भन्छ स्ट्याब्लिस भएर जान्छ बट द क्वेसन इज लाइक यु सेड त्यतिन्जेलसम्म हामी कसरी सस्टेन गर्ने त हाम्रो झन्डै 300-400-500 स्टाफहरू छ हाउ डु वी sustain them how do we pay their salaries when we don't have a business so अहिलेको सबभन्दा ठुलो च्यालेन्ज चाहिँ त्यो नै भइरहेको छ कि अब हाउ डु वी सस्टेन आवरसेल्फ अहिलेसम्म हामीले ले अफ गरेको छैन we don't intend to do the layoff till end of just business trying to suru bhayena bhane then we will have to think of laying off also so it's a very unprecedented time with such a huge challenge we are doing a lot of brainstorming our office is online every day for a few hours so we discuss a lot of ideas अब अहिले यसरी नै हुन्छ होला भन्न चाहिँ अलिकति गाह्रो छ but then we can do another के भन्छ this talk probably after a couple of weeks when things will become a little clearer अहिले नै भन्न चाहिँ अलिकति गाह्रो छ
right definitely so when the pandemic is going Uddin sir people let's say people are just shifting a global shift is happening toward the alternative entertainment industry which is streaming platform people are which we call the over the top media services and people and even like Academy Award Oscar announced maybe a month back that to be included to be nominated for this year's Oscar like they don't the movie should not do not need to be released in the cinema hall itself if they are releasing it in any kind of streaming services that can also be counted as an that can also be counted to be nominated in the Oscar nominations so the global shift is happening from let's say movie industry or let's say cinema halls big screens to streaming and if you look at Nepal's context नेपालमा अझै खासै stable streaming service from Nepal को एउटा कुनै streaming service छैन त छैन but almost all the youngsters are so much inclined towards the streaming service already because Netflix Amazon though we are not supposed to have it almost all of the everyone has access to the streaming platforms right so how do you see the future of if we put cinema halls against streaming services and if you look at the future how do you see the future in future how do you see these two competing with each other and like how do you see the Nepalese streaming media let's say Nepal ko streaming platform how do you see it progressing in coming future
internationally our just Netflix होला Amazon Prime होला these are quite established streaming services which are very popular around the world and also very popular in Nepal also. I've been spending most of my time during this lockdown watching movies or series on Netflix and Amazon Prime. But saying that, होला अहिलेको लागि चाहिँ ग्लोबल सिफ्ट पनि भएको छ आज पनि आर्टिकल पढिरहेको थिएँ कि ग्लोबली नै मान्छेहरू अब अहिले त केही उपाय नै छैन सो people are at least entertaining themselves by logging on to these services and at least passing their time by watching series or movies on thing. Secondly, Oscarले त्यो Academy Awards ले पनि त्यसलाई recognize गर्नुको कारण चाहिँ if you look at the thing last year movies like Irishman and all only got released on Netflix. They didn't get released in the theaters, right? And Oscarको रुल चाहिँ के छ भने एटलिस्ट कमर्सियली एक हप्ता चाहिँ फिल्म सिनेमामा लागेकै हुनुपर्छ भन्ने नियम छ हैन सो त्यो नियमको कारणले गर्दाखेरि those films were not got nominated in Oscar त्यसले गर्दाखेरि त्यो रुल्सहरु चेन्ज गरेको हो हैन But then moving on, no other platforms can beat the experience of watching movies in cinema halls.
That is for sure.
And especially, I mean, the drama खालको फिल्महरु छ भने त ल टिभी मा हेरेर पनि हुन्छ होला तर these days films especially if you look at Hollywood films they are larger than life they spend so much of money in terms of sound and quality and 3Ds and त्यसले गर्दा त्यो एक्सपिरियन्स चाहिँ सिनेमा हलमै पाइन्छ so whatever it is streaming will always remain popular and it will become more popular to spend time at home and to watch them but then going to cinema will always be an experience which cannot be beaten up by any other media so I for that matter don't foresee it's a doomsday for cinema it's rather good thing at least people will watch the movies on streaming platform and again they will come to cinema as well because kind of films are being made it can only be watched on the big screen.
Yeah.
So I'm not so pessimist about it here. I'm just worried about current situation. But once this situation normalizes, it won't be much better.
And so, like, as a person, how much do you are interested in watching series and stuff? Do you even have time to watch those series and stuff?
I have plenty of times at the moment, so I've been binge watching almost every series.
So yes, and you being so busy person, you have managed time right now to watch the series. And if to be quite honest, series are really so addictive as well when you start watching.
Yes.
And that is what all the Nepali youngsters has has been hooked up right now with. But if you look in Nepali industry, do you see Nepali series to be being produced or a streaming platform of Nepal itself, a quality streaming platform? Just these are a streaming platform or but they are not able to provide the quality contents or the quality experience when logging in. Do you ever see a future of Nepali streaming services launching of itself with series, Nepali flavor ko series or
I think so because one of the reasons is we have a huge Nepali diaspora living all around the world, and they are scattered, and some of the cities in the US, for example, Dallas or New York, they've started showing Nepali films in theaters.
Oh, okay.
But then that's only up to a couple of shows. That's the limit, because there are not enough numbers of people going to cinemas. So, best for Nepali film or Nepali soaps or series in the future will be OTT platform because Nepali population is almost all over the world. They are scattered all around the world. For them to watch Nepali film will be best to watch it through streaming platforms. Yeah, but like you said, none of these streaming platforms are becoming that popular way it should have been. And secondly, I hear some of the platforms like Kagbeni was released in one of the platform, and that Q platform but one of the guy he pirated Kagbeni and he released just uploaded on Facebook. And for the producer to bring down that film from Facebook, it took him a month. And within a month, couple of million viewers watched that film for free on Facebook. So I think there's this issue of software security and things
security issues,
piracy issues, security issues in the software. So we are also thinking of getting into streaming business. So at least we can, at least Nepali diaspora all over the world can watch such films through a streaming platform. And we are also looking into it. We are also doing a lot of brainstorming on it. So let's see.
Yes, actually, that was exactly what I was about to ask you. Like, if you have an intention to be in a streaming platform later on, so you are planning on it right now, because
yes, we are looking into it. We are planning it.
Because for me, I see, like you, let's say Team Quest. Let's say Team Quest. I see one. Let's say like only a company who can really give out the streaming. एउटा हुन्छ नि इन्टरनेसनल लेभलको क्वालिटीको स्ट्रिमिङ सर्भिस दिन सक्ने खालको कम्पनी इज टिम क्वेस्ट. द्याट इज वाट आई फिल लाइक, बिकज आई डु नट सी एनी अदर कम्पनी लाइक हु हेभ enough resources or like enough like who can be able to produce a streaming service or a streaming platform with international level को quality भन्ने नै अलिकति एउटा होपै अलिकति छैन क्या. And because we had a lot of hopes when iFlix and lots of other streaming services came out. I even tried them, but like the user experience is it's just like not satisfactory at all. But anyways, so I believe
more than that, it used the streaming platform needs to be very user friendly.
Definitely.
Available of content all kind of content should be available there. And thirdly, the most importantly के भने त्यो जुन घटनाहरु भइरहेछ त्यहाँबाट फिल्महरु छोडेर अन्त अपलोड गरिदिने जुन त्यो भइरहेछ, security features एकदमै बलियो हुनु पर्यो, so that producers believe on such platforms. अहिलेसम्म अस्ति मैले सुनेको अहिलेसम्म उसले के भन्छ 6 माया छपकै अहिलेसम्म स्ट्रिमिङ प्लेटफर्ममा रिलिजै गरेको छैन, जबकि उसलाई 40-50 लाख रुपैयाँ त अपफ्रन्टै दिइरहेको छ, तै पनि उसले रिलिज गरेको छैन. त्यो डिपेन्डेबल भएन, त्यहाँबाट फिल्महरु पाइरेसी भइरहेछ भनेर प्रोड्युसर्सहरुको आफ्नै चिन्ताको विषय भइरहेछ. So look, अहिले चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ ब्रेनस्टर्मिङ फेजमै छ. वी आर लुकिङ इन्टु इट सिरियसली कि एउटा एकदमै सेक्योर्ड खालको स्ट्रिमिङ प्लेटफर्म स्ट्याब्लिस गर्न सकियो भने एटलिस्ट नेपाली निर्माताहरूले त्यो फिल्महरु संसारभरिको नेपालीहरूले हेरिदिएर नेपाली निर्मातालाई एउटा एक्स्ट्रा इन्कमको सोर्स चाहिँ हुन सक्छ.
डेफिनेटली.
तर फिल्म यहाँबाट लगेर पुरानो स्टाइलमा अमेरिकाको एउटा सिटीमा घुमाउँदै त्यो मोबाइल फिल्म भने जस्तै हरेक सिटीमा फिल्म लिएर त्यहाँको कम्युनिटी हलमा बुक गरेर त्यहाँ त्यो फिल्म देखाएर त्यसरी फिल्म देखाउने त्यो संस्कारको चाहिँ अन्त्य नै हुनुपर्छ. त्यो त्यसरी त्यो भनौँ न त्यो सम्भवै छैन. सम्भवै छैन त्यसरी हैन. So I think OTT is the right platform for such platforms.
Yeah, and definitely, like you said, and it can be alternate source of income after the hallबाट movie निस्किसकेपछि. Maybe it can go to streaming platform, and that can also be a source of income for movie industry later in the future.
त्यसको लागि धेरै दिन कुर्नै पर्दैन. अहिले इन्डियामा हेर्ने हो भने सिनेमा हलमा रिलिज भएको 1 महिनाभित्र उसमा रिलिज गरिदिन्छ, ओटिटी प्लेटफर्म्सहरुमा रिलिज गरिदिन्छ. So that's how it should be. किनभने सिनेमा भनेको त अब त 2 हप्ता चल्यो भने पनि धेरै चले जस्तो भइसक्छ हलमा. 1 महिनाको ग्याप अथवा 1.5 महिनाको ग्याप राखेर यदि स्ट्रिमिङ प्लेटफर्महरु रिलिज गरिदिने हो भने संसारभरिको नेपालीहरूले फिल्म हेर्न पाउँछ अब गुड ब्याड अग्ली त आफ्नो ठाउँमा छँदैछ होइन एटलिस्ट मान्छेले हेर्न त पाउँछ
right sir right so I think like we should wrap it up. Thank you so much Nakim sir for joining us today in this podcast.
Thank you
Do
so
let us
much
know
for
like
having me.
do let us know how was your experience in this podcast, sir. I hope like you enjoyed the conversation.
Yes, of course. We've been talking for almost 2 hours now.
Yeah, almost. And thank you so much for in your. I know you're a busy guy. You've got a busy schedule, and you were able to fit us in that schedule.
Lockdown में के पनि छैन घरैमा छु, so lot of free time.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, Uddin sir. We really look forward to the other movies from Tricity Studios. And like I said, if everything works out, I do believe lots of new movies and better movies coming out in the future.
Yeah. We are working towards it. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Right? Yeah. Thank you so much, Saji, for having me. Yeah, thank you so much. I really had a wonderful time talking to you.
Thank you, Uddin sir, for your time. It was great talking to you about the. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.